Look around you right now. Every single person you can see, on the street, on your screen sitting next to you, is running on a body that has never existed before and will never exist again. That's not a motivational quote. That's a measurable scientific fact, and once you understand why, you'll never look at yourself the same way. There are over 8 billion people alive on this planet today, and if you compared the DNA of any two of them, you'd find they're roughly 99.9% identical. On the surface, that sounds like proof we're basically clones of each other. But flip that number around. That leftover 0.1% isn't a rounding error. It's a code with so many possible combinations that no computer on Earth could ever finish counting them. That sliver of difference is where every human being's entire story gets written. Here's the strange part. When scientists finally finished mapping the human genome, they expected clarity. Instead, they found chaos, mutations that existed in exactly one person and nowhere else on the planet. Genes behaving in ways textbooks couldn't explain. The deeper researchers dug, the less normal the human body actually looked. But rarity doesn't only live inside your genes. Sometimes it lives inside your blood. In 1961, doctors in Australia ran a routine blood test on a woman, and the results made no sense. Her red blood cells were missing every single Rh antigen known to medical science. They ran the test again. Same result. Again, same result. It was as if her blood didn't belong to any category humans had ever built. Scientists eventually gave this condition a name, Rh-null. The world nicknamed it golden blood, not because of its color, because of how impossibly rare it is. Fewer than 50 confirmed people on Earth have ever been identified with it. But here's the catch. Being golden isn't a gift. It's a trap. If someone with Rh-null blood ever needs a transfusion, there's almost no one on the planet who can donate to them. At the same time, their blood can save almost anyone else, no matter their blood type. The exact thing that makes them irreplaceable is the same thing that makes them incredibly vulnerable. And that's not even where the story ends. What if part of your body wasn't genetically you at all? It sounds impossible, but medicine has documented it. It's called human chimerism. Early in pregnancy, two separate embryos, which could have become twins, sometimes fuse into a single developing baby. Instead of two children, you get one person carrying two different sets of DNA. Their blood might match one genetic code, their skin might match a completely different one. There are real, documented cases where a mother's DNA test failed to match her own biological children. Doctors assumed the lab had made a mistake. They hadn't. The mother was a chimera, two people's genetic blueprints living inside one body her entire life, and she never knew. So maybe the real question isn't, who is the rarest person on Earth? Maybe the real question is, how does rarity even get made in the first place? The answer lives in probability, and probability is not on your side in the best possible way. Trace your existence back far enough, and you'll find an unbroken chain of ancestors stretching across hundreds of thousands of years. If just one of them had turned left instead of right, missed a train, met someone else, been born a single day later, that chain breaks, and you never exist. The odds against you being born were so astronomically small that by the time you take your first breath, you've already beaten odds no lottery could match. And your story doesn't stop being written once you're born. Every time a cell in your body divides, tiny copying errors slip through. Most vanish without a trace, but every so often, one survives, and it can quietly rewrite what your body is capable of. Some people carry a mutation that keeps their cholesterol naturally low for life, slashing their risk of heart disease before they even know it's happening. Others carry genetic variants that make them almost immune to diseases that once wiped out entire populations. There are people alive right now with bones so dense they're nearly impossible to break. Others who feel physical pain at a fraction of what the rest of us feel. All because of one rare shift buried in their DNA. None of these people make headlines. They're not in medical journals. They're just walking around completely unaware that their biology is doing something science has barely begun to understand. And that raises an unsettling possibility. The rarest human being alive might not be famous. They might never get tested. They could be standing in line at a grocery store, sitting across from you on a train, or scrolling through this exact video right now, carrying a genetic combination that has never existed before and will never exist again. We tend to imagine rarity as something visible, a record-breaking height, a striking face, something you could point to in a crowd. But nature almost never works that way. Its greatest creations are hidden, inside blood, inside cells, inside processes running silently every second of your life without you ever noticing. So who is the rarest human possible? Science can't give you a name. It never will, because the answer isn't a single person. It's a moving target. Every birth reshuffles the odds. Every generation rewrites what's mathematically possible. The rarest human who will ever live might already be gone. They might be born tomorrow, or they might already be alive right now, living an entirely ordinary life, with absolutely no idea that in the mathematics of existence, they are an event the universe may never repeat. And maybe that's the part worth sitting with. We spend so much of our lives measuring ourselves against everyone else, trying to earn the label special. But maybe that was never something you had to earn. Maybe it was written into you before you ever took your first breath. The universe has never told your exact story before, and after you're gone, it never will again. It